Hello. Today we visit r/AskReddit to see what's one of life's biggest traps that people fall into. Make sure to comment if you have fallen for any of these traps and if I may have missed any. With that, sit back and enjoy. Waiting too long for perfect, like the perfect soulmate, house, job, etc., and then letting too many good opportunities pass by. I have heard so many stories from people who have achieved the highest levels of success only to fall into the deepest depression of their life when they realized that even reaching their highest goals didn't fill that piece inside of them that was missing. It's like how any sports team that wins a championship is just grinding again at it the next year. Not saying that pursuing lofty goals isn't worth it, but as the saying goes, it's about the journey and not necessarily the destination. When artists give the concerts and performances of their lives, then going back to their hotels feeling empty. David Duval, the only professional golfer who was considered to be a rival to a young Tiger Woods at the time, famously did this in the airplane ride back home after winning the British Open. He remarked that he felt so empty and said, "Wow, this is it," when holding the trophy on the plane. Just because you have spare money at the end of the month doesn't mean you need to spend it. Look at this guy, with spare money at the end of the month. I've got spare month at the end of my money. In Dutch, that's a relatively common way of phrasing you're not making ends meet. I usually have month left, not money. With the rate of inflation, I better get my money's worth now. Not knowing how to use credit cards right. Spend $5,000 and pay back minimum balance $10. No? I know you're being sarcastic obviously, but I know someone who would run up a balance on his credit card, and then purposely make small payments to pay it back. When I found this out and told him what an idiot he is, and asked why he would do that, he said that he heard that if you carry a balance, the credit card company will report better to your credit report since they are making interest off of you, so it will help your credit score more than if you paid it off every month. The sheer stupidity of that comment just made me drop my jaw. I work for a credit card company and I came here to say credit. I speak to people daily in debt they'll never get out of. And that's one of their credit cards. So, how do we do it? Tips from the inside. Don't charge more than you can pay. If you can't pay the full balance back by your due date, you shouldn't use a credit card. If you have to use credit for something, don't just pay the minimum due each month. You'll never pay off the card. Pay on time. We make a ton of money on late fees. Like literally millions of dollars a year. I used to work credit card customer service for Bank of America, MBNA, back in 2006-ish. Geez. I was 19 to 20 at the time and I learned so much about credit cards from people's stupidity. I'd write notes when I was looking at accounts. Not their info but just numbers. If this lady has $5,000 in balance and makes the min payment at 17.99% interest, how long would it take for her to pay it off? Duck. Now how much will that $5,000 actually cost her? Duck. Then there would be some great customers. Man, this guy has $20,000 credit line, pays it off every month, multiple accounts with us, calling cause his card won't work in Paris. I can release the hold and advised him to let us know if he's going to leave the country again. I can also recommend another card with a minimal yearly fee that will maximize his points for travel more than his current card. I want to be this guy. Now I have amazing credit and actively talk about credit with friends. It's so important. One of the first things I did with my girlfriend, now fiancé, when we first started living together was have her open up her books. I wanted to see what money was coming in. We pulled a credit report. I went over her debts and we got on a plan to get her into a better place. As soon as her paycheck came in, we knew the payments we had to make slowly paid down her cards, and now she's credit card debt free, car paid off, and we're working on her student loans. We pay off our cards every month and really keep track of our points. Money is one of the largest decider in divorces. I told her we have to get our money on the right path before we even thought of marriage. That way, if we never got to the point of marriage, at least she had a better understanding of finances. Sunk cost fallacy. Seriously underrated comment. Sometimes you just have to walk away. Doesn't matter what you've invested. The longer you stay, the more you will lose. This is true for relationships, bad jobs, houses and cars you are constantly repairing, the go-kart in your garage. Sometimes you're better off leaving behind the memories, and the emotional and financial investments, and just starting again from scratch. It's never easy, but it's something we all have to do eventually. Let it go. Me trying not to get out of bed in the middle of the night when I'm comfy but I really have to pee. I'm losing more sleep than if I just get up now and pee 'cause I can't sleep when I have to pee so bad. But I'm so comfy now and getting up will ruin that. Came to say this too. I stayed at a job for too long because I already put so much time and effort into it even though the salary was crap. I finally had enough and decided to leave, and I'm doing so much better financially, emotionally, physically. It's been 5 years since I left, and sometimes I think what my life would be had I stayed, and it's just depressing. Looking back, leaving was one of my best decisions. Never letting go of the past, that can kill you, I swear. Or more specifically, how things that happened have hurt. Letting go of the pain. It's not always easy, but it is a trap. Or, slightly differently, regretting past decisions you made or opportunities you didn't take. Hindsight is 20/20, and I feel like I wasted a lot of my 20s regretting the past instead of enjoying the present. Heck, I guess I'm doing it right now. Dude, my 20s are a mirror of yours. Today my 20s are well and truly long gone. Saying that, I recall many a times verbally saying I had many regrets of how I wasted my time. It's true, I did. I can't deny it. And I can finally say, over the years it pushed me to do better, strive harder, and appreciate the hours in a day a hell of a lot more than I did back in my youth. I'm not perfect. I still get distracted and lose a day, and then it's Monday morning, time for work. But for the greater part, I find I look towards goals more. Small, big, whatever. I choose where I spend my time. My missus has a hard time with this some days, and has yet to understand where I come from. But she's slowly seeing it from my perspective. And I don't have to be dragged along to some boring, to me, activity that doesn't serve me in almost any way. Within reason, of course. Don't look back. Because you can't change it. But you can change how you will act in the future. Lifestyle creep. Feeling the need to upgrade cars, houses, jewelry, etc. to keep up with your peers. Yes. Lifestyle inflation is how people earning 100K plus a year life paycheck to paycheck. Not just that. Uber Eats. GrabFood. Uber itself. Buying shit from the gas station or convenience store at markup. The slow creep of convenience is what slowly puts people's expenses up. Letting other people define success for them rather than defining it for themselves. Theoretically, yes. But that's not how most humans work. Success is a social thing. Always in relation to social constructs and others. It's in our nature to see it that way. We can modify a bit, but tough to change. I believe I can attest to this just a little bit. I'm the son of first-generation Asian American immigrants. Came over in '92 as an international student with a net worth of under $1,000, stretched their scholarship, which was meant to cover 80% of their university cost, to pay for their entire university expenses, and made a life here. Since people seek out familiarity when in an unfamiliar environment, the vast majority of my parents' social circle was other Asian American immigrants. As a result, I knew countless other second-generation Asian Americans, aka, my parents' friends' children, who weren't exactly my friends, but was on a first-name basis with and maybe followed on Instagram. 80% of them went to top tier, think Stanford, MIT, Berkeley, etc., or second tier, Michigan, UCLA, Carnegie Mellon universities. I'm at the local state university and took 5 years to graduate, graduating June 2023. My mom doesn't even hang out with her friends much anymore because she'd have to listen to them talk about their kid's new 6-figure software job at LinkedIn or something. While I'm still in school and making $19.50 hourly at my internship. Even though I'm reasonably confident I'll have the tools to make at least an average living for myself when I depart the education system forever in a few months, it's hard not to look at the success of the peers I grew up with and wonder how I fell so short of them. You could describe me as the runt of the litter. Personally, I see absolutely nothing wrong with making $60K your whole life, yet have a thriving social and family life. My boss makes $200K a year, but is absolutely miserable. Stays late. Just got a divorce. He has hobbies, like golfing, but I'm 90% sure he doesn't really like golf and is just doing it because all the other VPs do it. I look at him as an example not to become. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that if you're into that lifestyle, but I've been thinking about this a long time and realized that life is not for me. That's why I hate the whole quiet quitting craze. It's perfectly fine to do an average job at work, and then go home. Not everyone wants, or even has the capacity, to be the top 1%. Happiness is truly the most important thing, and that comes in all shapes and sizes. That doesn't mean doing a bad job, but it also means being okay with doing a good job at what you're given and being satisfied with it. Not every task has to contribute to a promotion. Doing nothing because of fear of rejection. Or its cousin, doing nothing because doing something limits your options. I saw my life branching out before me like the green fig tree in the story. From the tip of every branch, like a fat purple fig, a wonderful future beckoned and winked. One fig was a husband and a happy home and children, and another fig was a famous poet, and another fig was a brilliant professor, and another fig was EEG, the amazing editor, and another fig was Europe and Africa and South America, and another fig was Constantine and Socrates and Attila and a pack of other lovers with queer names and offbeat professions, and another fig was an Olympic lady crew champion, and beyond and above these figs were many more figs I couldn't quite make out. I saw myself sitting in the crotch of this fig tree, starving to death, just because I couldn't make up my mind which of the figs I would choose. I wanted each and every one of them, but choosing one meant losing all the rest, and, as I sat there, unable to decide, the figs began to wrinkle and go black, and, one by one, they plopped to the ground at my feet. Sylvia Plath, the bell jar. My brother basically just gave up dating because he'd been told no too many times. Was working at a McDonald's as he went to college, told he was a thug. Became a trucker during summers to make more money to finish university without debt, told he was too much a roughneck. Then after graduation getting his degree was told he's too old. I guess at a certain point you just get tired of no and settle. I don't want that for him, but I get it. You keep being told God'll make a way or God's got a plan for you when all you get is rejection after rejection. Finally you just give up and say how about God gets rejected for once, maybe they'll understand for once. It sucks, but that's sometimes how things are. Marrying or living with or otherwise committing to someone who is mean to you and doesn't treat you well. Sleepwalking into marriage or living together because it's time, or nothing is really wrong, it's just not right. I've seen it unfold in real life way too many times. And I'm 43, and the first wave of divorces, second wave of marriages is in full swing, and while the window dressing differs on each of them, there are underlying realities in all the ones that don't work out. Also marrying or getting in a relationship with someone just cause they don't want to be lonely or it's a social pressure. I have a friend whom her boyfriend pressured her to get married, but they broke up because my friend wasn't ready. He then found another person to marry, and I asked my friend why her ex was desperate to get married, and she said it's cause his friends are all married so he didn't want to be the only one who wasn't. What a bizarre thinking, but unfortunately, it's a norm nowadays. I have another friend who was never single ever since he was 18 years old, and I asked him why. He said he didn't want to be lonely and have to face all the feelings. Sounds unhealthy as hell. Thinking that you're running out of time to do something because someone else has done it already. I could absolutely shred guitar licks, of all genres, at age 17. I could play literally everything lead guitar-wise. 10 hours a day practice sessions for 9 years and sacrificed grades, social life and all that comes with that. I gave it up when I heard Steve Vai live. It crushed me. Try as I might, there was no way I could do what he was doing. I couldn't get over it. Decades later I realize I made a huge mistake. I was good and my entire philosophy was based on something outside of myself, that I couldn't control. Don't make this mistake. Do you and put it out there because you like it. Had this happened today? I was at a blacksmithing class and I was really struggling with tapering the rod. I watched everyone else finish and progress to the next step, and some even finished, so I assumed time was running out and I was ducked. I had another hour and a half. Caring what others think. You should to some extent, but doing it too much just destroys your self-worth and turns you into someone you're not. I get what you mean, and I agree with the sentiment. I'd reword it though to, judging yourself by what others think. Because caring about what others think is a good thing. That's basic empathy. But letting them tell you how to feel about yourself is definitely a bad place to be. Thank you for watching all the way until the end of the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you have fallen for any of these traps and if I may have missed any. Click the video above if you want to continue to watch my content. Until next time.